Hey guys, we're doing a Gucci watch battery and we're taking out 3 links. So if you ever had a watch that you had to do a battery and links for, always make sure you hold it like this, just to see where the balance is of the balance of the watch is. But it's pretty balanced here, so you could pick any side. If you were to do 2 links, I would suggest you take out 1 on each side, and if you were to do 3 links, then you could do 2 on one side and 1 on one side. The most tricky part of this would be the links are not easy to do on this. They usually get stuck. You need some special tools for it. I don't recommend you do this at home, but you could try it. Now, the Gucci watch batteries, the access to the back is also very tricky because you won't really see any place where you can open it from either side. But most of the Gucci watches, you can open up you could use one of those knives just to get in and open it up from either the top where the band starts here and the bottom. It's usually never on the sides. The more you try to do it on the sides, it will basically scratch it in the back. So I wouldn't recommend you do that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the band apart and we're gonna get a little more access in the back. So I don't want to scratch this. Obviously, it's a few $100 watch. So I'm gonna use one of the pin removers that I use for links. This is it right here. I'm gonna make sure that it's tight. It's tight and also it's straight, because you have to make sure, because if it breaks and if you don't have any link remover pins, then you're gonna be stuck. So I'm gonna use one of these hammers and I'm gonna hammer it in here, and it doesn't really say what side you can take it out, because it usually has arrows pointing out. This one doesn't have one, so I assume that this will be safe to push either side. So I'm just gonna hammer it in just like that, okay? And now the pin on the other side has popped out. So I'm gonna use one of these, if you have a plier like this at home, a small one. If you don't, you can use one of these as well. This is a very common tool at home. Grab it here, just like that. Just like that. Grab it here and pull it out, and it'll come out. Now, that's not the only thing that's gonna come out. So there's another little barrel looking thing that's on this side, right here. If I can show it to you, it will either come out on its own. There we go. So this is basically where it will sit inside right here. When you're closing the band back up, this is where it's supposed to go in. So make sure you don't lose this, because if you lose this, you won't be able to put the band back together. Now, we'll keep that safe somewhere. Now, let's try and see where we can access it in the back. Now, I see a lot of room in here right now. Just adjust the light. So I see room here where you can put the knife in and lift it up, or a little bit of room on this side as well, where you can put the knife in and lift it up again. But I don't see it on this side. It's very, very tight here, and it's also very tight here. So I don't recommend you do that. Now, there's a few tools that you can use. I can use one of these knives that I've sharpened to take the back case off. I could do this, or I have one of these. These you can find online as well, but I've taped it up. The reason why I tape it is because I don't want the bare metal to touch the bare metal and scratch it. So in most cases, I would just use this to pry it open. If not, I have also another one, which is for a much smaller watch, and that I've sharpened as well. As you can see, this one will just glide it in as easy as possible and just lift it up. So we could try it with this one first. I think this would work better. If not, you can always use a regular knife. Let's just go here on top, because I see that there's a little bit of room where I can just slide this in just like that and lift it up. You can feel it before you even do it. I'm not adding any pressure or force. I'm just sliding it up just to see if I can do it. Right? I feel a little more confident on this side though, because it seems like this would be a good place to start. Just like that. If you have a rag at home, like one of these, this is just to clean the watches, just for safety. I will hold this rag in my hand and I will put the watch right on top, just like this. I'm gonna hold it so I don't scratch it or hurt my hands while I'm doing it. So I will just wrap it up just like that, so it doesn't slip out of my hands. So it's always good to use a rag or something like a towel that you could use. And now we'll just try to see if we can access it first. Okay, I feel like this might be a good spot to try. Okay. Okay. See? Slide that open. So this is important too. This red gasket around it you have to make sure that it stays on the back case. If it's in here, somewhere around here, it won't close. So what you're gonna need to do is you're gonna need to put the gasket back on. If it's sitting in here, once you open it, and if it's sitting here, take the back, take the gasket and put it right back on top over here, and then just leave it alone for the moment. Let's change the battery. This is a 395, but let me just show you quickly the type of mechanism they use. This is a Swiss mechanism, as you can see, Swiss V8. That's the name of it. And what is it? That's just a serial number on it. I think it's a 3 jewel. I'm having a hard time zooming it in, but yeah, it's a 3 jewel, and it takes a 395. All right. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'm just gonna take the battery out really quick. Take the battery out. It's a 395. You can use a 399 also. I'm going to use a 395. It's a Maxwell battery. It's actually a pretty good brand to use. I'm just going to install it. Very easy to install. Just leave it on top, just like that. Push it in. That's it. It's very easy. Now, you don't need the clamping tool to put the Gucci back on. It's very simple. Oh, let's just make sure that it works first. Is it working? It is working. Good. Okay, now let me just show you really quick. The Gucci bag, you're not supposed to use excessive force or one of these clamping tools. You don't need this. With a Gucci watch and a red or a green gasket watch, any watch that has a red or a green gasket, you could just slide the back in with just your thumbs. Look, I want to show you. slide it on one side, just like that. It closed. Now see, on this side, push it on one side. It might not make the clicking noise or the when it's closed all the way, but you have to do it from each side. So I did it from the top on the side. I did that as well. See, I barely used any power to close the back, none whatsoever, and it's secure. Now let's just do the quickly. We have to do 3 links. So we've already dismantled the band. Now we're just gonna take 1 link, 2 link. So this one is already out. This one we're gonna hammer on the 3rd one here to take out the 2. This is out. This is out. This one I'm gonna hammer. So I'm gonna take this, hammer the pins out, and slide it right out. Okay, now remember we have to put this middle piece in it. This one needs to go in first on this side, and put the pin right through it, just like that. And if you have a like a surface which is flat, I think it'll be easier to just hammer it back in, just like that. So we did 2 on one side. Now we have to make sure it's, yeah, so we're gonna have to take out 1 more from here. You can hammer it either way because it doesn't have the little marker that tells you. Both take 2 pins out. I'll take this one out, take another one out, and just slide it right out here, and then make sure that the tube that stays inside is still in there. And slide that back in. And also just that try and do it on a flat surface, because if you lose any of these pins or the tubes, it's not gonna go back in. So just make sure that every pin that you remove, every tube that comes out, make sure that you have it safely stored somewhere next to you. I'm gonna have to move this out a little bit. Yeah, so there we go. One more time. Okay, now just to make sure that it stays in. Okay, this is giving me a hard time. Okay. Okay, now straighten it out. Just push it on top, just like that. So we did 3 links all together. 1, 2, 3, and the pin here. So let's just set the right time. It is 2:19, and that's pretty much how you do a Gucci watch. Not every place will do it because it's hard to do, but if you know how to do it the right way, you can do it at home. Thank you.